this morning I was really thinking about, how do you overcome too much? How do you overcome a busy life? How do you overcome burnout? How do you overcome having too much stuff going on? There's got to be an easier way. And I was thinking, go back to the beginning of this journey where you started, with teaching and ministry and like having a crazy social life and long distance relationship. It was really hard to juggle all these different lives. And it's always good to just retrace your steps, just to go back for a second and think, okay, how did I get here? Go back to like why you said yes to these things in the first place. And, it brought me to Psalm 51:12 when David says, restore me to the joy of your salvation. Find joy in the little things. Like, I feel like so much, we say yes to so many things and we overcomplicate it, but God wants to simplify it. He wants to just give us joy and delight in doing these things. And it's not the things itself, but it's in who we become while we do these things. Going back to the basics, simplifying things, and see what was from God, going back on this journey and going back over the last year and just looking, oh my gosh, like I was crazy busy, but like God was here and he was here and he was here. And it's almost like I'm able to like kind of differentiate now, like, okay, what was from God? Like what sort of responsibilities was from God? And what did I put on my plate that I didn't need to put on? What burden was I carrying that wasn't mine to carry? Because so often, we say yes to things and we're working out of obedience to the Father and it starts off great, but we add so much pressure to ourselves. We put pressure on ourselves and then it becomes... then our ministry that we're serving in becomes something it's not. Our job that we're working becomes something that it's not supposed to be. Our relationships become something they're not supposed to be because we add so much to it. And, this morning I was just thinking, go back to the basics, going back and simplifying. Why am I here? What is my purpose? And finding joy in the grace that it is not too late for you. It is not too late for you. You are not a lost cause. Just because you might feel exhausted from the place that God had you before this quarantine does not mean that he's calling you to quit. Does not mean he's calling you to give up. Because right now he's taking you back to the basics. He's giving you joy and delight in the little things so that when push comes to shove and life happens again, you'll find joy in salvation that God has to offer. And you won't feel burdened by the responsibilities. You won't feel burdened by the stuff that we tend to add on ourselves. I just wanted to encourage you guys with that. And there's so much that God has to offer you. And stop being so hard on yourself. Stop putting so much pressure on yourself because Jesus already paid the cost for it on the cross. And it is not your job to carry that burden anymore.